Hey guys, it's Joe from Gadgetry Tech, and today we're going to talk about the Stealth 700 Gen 2 Max. To me, this is one of the more exciting headset launches of the year. I like a lot of things about it, and I'll get into that in a moment, but let's start with the basics. So right now, you can get it in either black or cobalt blue, this being the blue, of course, and I have both, so we'll do some close-ups. But it's $200, has a ridiculous 40-hour battery life, and it works on everything. Now, I have the Xbox versions because as of right now, there are no PlayStation versions launched or released. They are coming out later in the year. I can tell you right now, it'll work just fine on PlayStation. Don't wait for the PlayStation version. You will not lose any functionality on PlayStation by getting this. So to me, don't waste your time. Just get this one. And that's one of the biggest selling points of this model is the cross-platform compatibility. So normally, I get right into build quality, comfort, and features, but I do want to talk about, to me, one of the most important things with this headset, and that's the cross-platform support. Now, the Stealth 700 Gen 2 Max, the new one, uses a USB transmitter regardless of which version you bought. If you had the original Stealth 700 Gen 2 on Xbox, it was direct pairing, so you had to press that pair button on the Xbox, and on PlayStation, it came with a transmitter, which also worked on PC in addition to the PlayStation. Now, the new one, the Max, comes with the USB transmitter. This magical little stick with the switch on the side, you can see it says Xbox and USB. Xbox, obviously for Xbox, and it does work on Windows 10 in Xbox mode. USB for PlayStation, Nintendo Switch when docked, your computer, everything else. This one headset will work on everything. The only thing this headset doesn't have that would make it like the ultimate cross-platform use with anything model is if it doesn't have an aux. So because there's no aux input, I guess if you're stuck with something that requires that, that's the only drawback. However, this is one of the only headsets out there that works wirelessly on every platform. And because it has Bluetooth, now you can include mobile in that picture. The PlayStation support is phenomenal. Just flick the switch and you can use the mic and headset no problem, including Sony's 3D audio. On Xbox, you can use the Windows Sonic or Dolby Atmos. On PC, you can use DTS. You can use Dolby Atmos there, Windows Sonic there. So this thing works on everything just by flicking this little switch. No special drivers to install. It's flawless in that regard. And then the Bluetooth, again, allows you to piggyback onto other things. Now, unlike some other more expensive headphones, surprisingly, this has simultaneous Bluetooth audio to an extent. And I'm going over all these now because I think this is what's most important about the headset. So you can wirelessly listen to music or take a Discord call or a phone call on your headset while playing wirelessly on a console or PC. I guess if you're on PC, you're using Discord there anyway. But I can be playing wirelessly on Xbox and use my mic on Xbox and still listen to music on my phone or watch a YouTube video in between games and have all the audio come in on my headset. That functionality is amazing. There's no BS of switching back and forth and having weird audio things. It just works. Now, I do want to say, if you take a phone call on this, it will reduce the game volume, and your microphone now will no longer work on the game console side. The microphone is routed to your phone call. So there's no auto mute issues to worry about. That's the way the microphone works. Because of that, if you are using Bluetooth calls for Discord through your phone, and playing on Xbox, it will reduce your Xbox volume, and the microphone will not work on Xbox Party Chat and Discord at the same time. It's a one or other affair. There really aren't any headsets out there that simultaneously do both. One of the few is the Lucid Sound LS50X. They have a custom new firmware that came out that does do simultaneous audio with Bluetooth and USB mode to Xbox and your phone. So you can do it that way, but the mic honestly sounds pretty bad though, so that's the one drawback. And it doesn't work wirelessly on PlayStation or other platforms. So this is still kind of unique, but I do want to at least express all of those compatibility concerns that some people may have, so you know exactly how you can use this. So now that we got the compatibility part out of the way, and you know that you can use this on damn near everything, I want to talk about some cool things. So I don't know if you can tell, I'm a little nasally right now. I got ridiculously sick right after these showed up, like 103 fever for several days straight. And the one pro to that is I was basically stuck taking time off from work, laying down, and when I had energy, I was playing some video games. So guess what came in handy? A headset that worked on my PlayStation and Xbox, so I only had to worry about wearing one, and the ridiculous battery life. 40 hours is no joke, and yes, I know the 600 Gen 2 Max has 48 hours, so a little bit better battery life. They actually have the same drivers on both headsets. The reason why this is a little bit lower is because you have Bluetooth and it's simultaneously paired to something else. So you have more stuff in here, which drains the battery more. So 40 plus hours is honestly ridiculous to have Bluetooth and that wireless performance, sound quality, volume, etc. The Odyssey Penrose X, $300 headset. It has good sound to an extent. There are some drawbacks to the way it's tuned, but you're lucky if you get 10 to 12 hours of battery life on that thing, and that's $300. So this is $100 less, and you get over double the battery life. I could tell you how much I appreciated that when I was sick, because I certainly needed to make it through a couple days without getting up and charging it and all that. So just being able to wear this all day was great, which leads me to the comfort. So this is a tried and true ear pad, and I'm going to pop it off and I've never popped this one off. I did it on the black one. That's how easy it is. So, and look at this nice gold finish. It's a pretty slick finish. And you can actually see the ribs on the driver. I touched on this on my original Stealth 700 review. That rib driver improves audio performance. I'll explain why from a technical standpoint, but it basically allows the driver to be a little bit lighter, while still not distorting, so you get more accurate sound reproduction, but you still get excellent bass output and control without distortion. They also angle the driver too, which is a nice little, let's see if I can get that into focus. Yeah, barely, but the drivers are angled. There are $300 headphones out there, they don't angle the driver, and that does change the way it sounds. So anyway, going back to comfort, these things are freaking pillows. The comfortability or comfortableness, they're very comfortable. They use memory foam. It uses a synthetic leather on the outside, memory foam pad on the inside. It creates a really good seal, and it feels excellent around your ear. Now, I do want to show you one thing. The ear pads have a pull tab. This is the Pro Spec glasses. If you pull that, it creates a crease in the ear pad. That allows you to wear any kind of glasses you want, and by creating that little dip in the pad, you have extreme glasses comfort. This is like their best version of their Pro Spec. Basically, on the Stealth 600, it's just softer on the pad right here, so it doesn't put too much pressure on your frames. This goes to another level by allowing you to remove the pad, pull that, create a crease, and anyone who wears glasses should enjoy a very highly comfortable headset. Now, I do want to talk about one thing though that typically isn't good for glasses. It's masked by the fact that this has that tab and the ear pads are so soft, is this has a pretty high clamp force. One of the highest clamp force headsets I've seen or used, just like the Stealth 700. Now, my original Stealth 700 Gen 2 wasn't much of an issue because over time, and I don't like bending this too much, by the way, when you stretch these, if you do, don't do it a lot, because I have no idea how the wiring is inside. If there is an antenna system and you pull this, I don't know what that'll do to reception. I can tell you it loosens up a little bit after several days worth of use. And in my case, that was several hard days of use. So in a week or two of normal use, this should break in a little bit. The clamp force is high, so I do want to point that out. And you do have a really nice memory foam pad. This is more plush than normal. It's very, very robust. And you have the metal headband on the Stealth 700. So the build quality is excellent. There's no creaks. It's very solid. Everything where there's contact, when you swivel the pads up and down, there's a little felt piece right there. So you don't hear like a hard plastic chunky sound or anything like that. The other thing I want to say, and this is what I've always loved about Turtle Beach headsets, do you see the offset yoke, meaning that the ear pad is not centered to the headband? Because the reason why they do that is when I wear this, if I take this off and I want to put it around my neck, do you see how much that opens up naturally? That means it's not strangling me and I can wear it comfortably around my neck. That's why, a big reason why they do the offset yokes, and to me that's huge. There's a lot of headsets that don't rotate at all, or if they do, a lot of them are symmetrical and they're like bear hugging your neck. Very uncomfortable. This is like what a gamer wants, in my opinion. So I love that design. Now going into controls, again, another feature I like is flip to mute. One, the microphone tucks out of the way if you don't want to use it, which I guess helps if you're using this as a Bluetooth headphone and you're traveling, because the microphone's gone, it doesn't look like a gaming headset. but when you pull it out here, it's still muted. Now when I pull it all the way out, it's live, and you hear a little tone when it goes live or off, or muted, I should say. The controls are all on the left-hand side, and it doesn't take long to get used to it. You have a fixed volume knob on the top. And when you have this adjustment, it basically all the way up will hit a hard stop, and minimized will do a hard stop down low. Now, this is your master volume for everything. If you have Bluetooth playing on this, that will not have its own max volume. Like basically, if this is turned all the way down, you're not going to hear anything. If you turn this all the way up, your game will be max volume. So everything you listen to on your console is maxed out. And then from your mobile device or whatever's connected with Bluetooth, you can adjust the Bluetooth volume there, but it will only match the max setting of this headset. So if this is set to 50% and you max out your phone, you're going to hear the Bluetooth at 50% until you turn this back up. The bottom wheel, this wheel spins forever, and I like the way they do this because the big kicker on this is it has a mobile app to control it. Now this wheel can be reassigned, so if you want to use the wheel to control your game to chat mix, because on Xbox this still supports that, you can adjust how loud your friends are compared to the game. That is what I typically set that wheel to because I use that feature the most. You could also set it to adjust the microphone side tone to hear how loud your voice is on the mic, and you can adjust all of this in the your mobile app as well if you want to change it. And then another one is you can make it so this adjusts your Bluetooth volume on whatever device is paired. So I like that customization that you can do. Now the mode button can be reassigned as well. The mode button can do your game presets or your EQ presets. So if you want to change the audio tuning, you can have it so it changes or enables superhuman hearing mode. You can have it do your microphone noise gate. So if you want to reject some background noise, the Stealth 700 has that advantage over the 600 as well. And then you also have your chat boost, which again, it boosts the volume of your friends so you can hear them even easier. So if you have someone that's really soft, you can assign it to that as well. All right, now I'm talking to you on the Stealth 700 Gen 2 Max mic with the USB transmitter. This is a phenomenal microphone, and I have a lot of headsets I've reviewed. The original Stealth 700 Gen 2 for Xbox sounded a little bit better because of the Xbox wireless transmitter. Now I want to show you something because I'm paired to my iPhone right now. When I hit record on my iPhone to capture the microphone, it's going to stop sending the mic to the PC. So I want to show you what the mic sounds like on Bluetooth as well. Okay, now I'm talking to you on Bluetooth through my phone, and the PC side just went silent. So even on Bluetooth, they have a really smart compression algorithm, whatever they're using to send the signal to Bluetooth on the phone. It's a really high quality signal because to me, it still sounds excellent, and it's certainly passable as an everyday conference call headset too. So again, playing into that whole one headset that works on everything, you can use this headphone or headset for daily work, conference calls, etc. And on that same charge, hop online later and play with your friends on whatever console you decide you want to play on. So this is with the noise gate on, by the way. I always leave it on because it doesn't really hurt the sound quality at all. And it's an omnidirectional mic, which is why it sounds good. But I think it rejects just enough background noise to where overall the performance is absolutely phenomenal. All right, so as you just heard, the microphone performance is freaking fantastic. And I'm sure you noticed no audio cutouts, no pops, no weird issues with it at all. It's a rock solid connection, and it sounds great. So huge wins there. And the microphone sensitivity is just right too. It's not too hot where it distorts. I can talk pretty loudly here and have some energy, if you will, or I guess the little energy I have. But it's not so faint either that if I'm talking softly, it's going to sound weak. I really think they have the microphone dialed in perfectly. I wouldn't change anything. So that leads me to sound quality. And speaking of not changing things, I usually, in almost every case, tune every headset I get because I have certain sound profiles I like. There are odd characteristics in a headset that I may not like. Some of them lose a ton of bass. Some of them have way too much bass. The trebles are way too sharp. This headphone, and I say headphone a lot, but this headset in signature sound, the default sound profile is one of the best tuned sounding gaming headsets under $200 for the wireless side of things. It really, at $200, honestly, I would take this sound over the Astro A50s because these have a much more dynamic bass to it. and they're not muddy. There's not so much bass that is bleeding into the mids, and it sounds like everything's like coming through a cardboard box or something. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's not boosted so much where it's changing the tone of people's voices or impacting the mid-range of the games or movies. But it has a nice thunderous bass quality to it. It digs super, super deep. So if you like explosions to actually sound like an explosion and not an explosion sound effect, this is the bass that does that. It's phenomenally tuned. And with the signature sound, it is a little bit brighter up top, but not as bright as some other gaming headsets I've used. I think, honestly, it's probably one of the more even-tuned headsets as far as like the V-shape. It's not extreme on the highs. I think SteelSeries has a little bit sharper treble presentation. They're a little bit, they're very detailed, which can be good and bad, but I can't listen to them at loud volumes unless I pull the treble down. But these made the game sound really fun and dynamic and engaging without punishing my ears so much. And even in like, when you listen to rock music, when you listen to hip hop or EDM or jazz, because you have that really flexible bass profile, it works with all genres, and the mids are still incredibly clear. Honestly, I in most of the time, like I said, I've tweaked it. I really didn't care to change it too much because I found that the signature sound was freaking amazing. When I did tweak it, the only thing I did was, because you can use the app, you can actually custom tune your sound profile. You can adjust your bass, your vocals, which are your mids, and your highs. I didn't really mess with the bass and mids too much because honestly, they're exactly where I like them. I tried pulling treble down just a little bit because I wanted to see if I could listen to it at slightly louder volumes for competitive gaming and have those highs not hurt my ears as much. But I really only pulled like 1 or 2 decibels out, and to me, it didn't make enough difference to even worry about doing it. So I think they nailed it. Now, you do have different preset EQs. You have your bass boost, bass and treble boost, a vocal boost, and then your custom, which again you enable on the app. And so you can certainly mess around with it. You might have found a game that just doesn't have the right audio mix that plays nice with the signature sound. So mess around with those, and it helps you dial it in. I do want to note one thing though. I mentioned this on the Stealth 700 review I did a while back. This has so the whole superhuman hearing thing, I'm usually not a huge fan of that because I don't like to lose all my bass and highs. I want to hear full range, but the idea of superhuman hearing is to laser focus on the mid-range frequencies, especially where footsteps are, and get rid of all the other junk in the background, if you will, that can make it harder to isolate those things, to again give you the most competitive advantage you can get. I find that in default, enabling it to 100% superhuman hearing is too extreme for me. I lose too much of the dynamics. But on the Stealth 700s, there's a slider on the app to adjust how strong superhuman hearing is. And I found that enabling it and setting it to like 25 to 35% in there makes it still very competitive for gaming, but you still get enough dynamics to enjoy it too. So if you need a little bit of an extra edge, just try that out, and maybe that'll give you just the little extra oomph you need. Or enable it all the way if you really want to go hardcore. Now, on that competitive side, I do want to say I did the latency test. The latency is extremely low. There's nothing that stands out bad. I have like the little, YouTube video AV sync, if you will, where it shows like the ball bouncing on a platform and there's a red flash. And by doing that, it tells me the second that ball's hitting the platform, am I perceivably hearing it on the headphone at the same time, and I was without any issues. So the audio lag is nearly non-existent. Again, another important thing when you're considering competitive gaming. So audio performance, phenomenal. Microphone, phenomenal. I talked about the comfort, usability, and everything. So I think you see where this is going. To me, this is one of the best options you can consider on the market, period, for gaming. It doesn't matter the price point because of the usability. My Penroses, I already talked about those. To me, they're not as comfortable as this, and the wireless stability wasn't as good. I found, by the way, on that note, on PC mode, the transmitter is rock solid. For the transmitter antenna is on the left side of this headset, and I found that when my Xbox was on the right side, about 5 or 6 feet away, and I was in Xbox mode, every now and then I had a little audio stutter. I don't know if that was specific to my headset. I always try to be as fair as I can. This headset was sent to me for review, but again, I don't want to hide anything. I used a little 3-foot USB extension cord just to move it away from my console, like a $2 wire, and the audio drops completely stopped. The same thing can be, now when I move the transmitter further away from the headset to my PlayStation in USB mode, I never got a single audio drop, and on PC, on both modes, I never got an audio drop. So, and I think it was tied more to Warzone. Warzone has a really dense audio track, so I don't know if that was exasperating it more, but overall wireless connection was excellent, and I still got really good range too. So I think the transmitter's great. If you have any kind of weird issues, specifically on Xbox, just try a little extension cord or reposition your transmitter and you should be good to go. But overall, this is an easy recommend because there's really nothing on the market that does this, period. When you look at a Bluetooth headset that works wirelessly with all consoles and all platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, Switch, your phone, this is the only one. I mean, you have the Penrose, that's literally, so I guess it's not the only one. The Penrose X is the only other one, but that has mediocre battery life, and I mentioned the other issues with it. So, and it's $300, it's $100 more than this. So to me, this has to be one of the best value gaming headsets out there because a lot of people have more than one platform they play on, and it doesn't mean you should have a good headset on one platform and a crappy one on the other. If you want wireless, this is going to be a killer headset. I think they're going to sell a boatload of these. So who knows if more colors will come out. Right now it's black and cobalt blue, but I freaking love these things. I'm going to have a link in the description below. It'll take you to Amazon. If you think this is the right headset for you, feel free to purchase it there. That'll support the channel. No custom affiliate stuff with Turtle Beach. It's literally just a generic link. I don't like doing marketing deals typically because I don't want you to feel that it's influencing my review in any way. But I love these things. I always try to find a headset that I can use for everything, and I think the 700 Gen 2 crushes it in that regard. So anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in and checking out the video. I hope you found everything you needed to know. Shoot me a comment below if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to answer it for you. And with that being said, I'll see you next time.